The massive conference hall gleamed with polished surfaces and holographic displays. Alien delegates from 100 different worlds sat in carefully arranged seating, each species given a specific location based on their galactic standing. Humans, being relatively new to the Galactic Confederation, were placed near the back, a position that suggested their low importance. Jae-hoon Park adjusted his simple black suit. At 32, he was the youngest diplomatic representative from Earth, chosen for his sharp mind and calm demeanor. He looked around the circular hall, taking in the strange collection of beings. Some were tall and thin, with skin that shimmered like metal. Others were short and compact, with multiple arms or eyes that seemed to look in different directions at once. The current speaker was a Krell representative, a massive reptilian creature standing nearly 3 meters tall. Its scaled skin was a deep green, with sharp ridges running along its head and back. When it spoke, its voice rumbled like distant thunder, translated by advanced linguistic computers for the assembled delegates. The Galactic Confederation requires order. The Krell diplomat boomed. Some species are simply not prepared for advanced galactic responsibilities. Jae-hoon watched carefully. He knew exactly what was coming. The Krell turned, its massive head swiveling directly toward the human delegation. Its yellow eyes locked onto Jae-hoon, who remained completely still. Take the humans, for example, the diplomat continued, a hint of disgust in its voice. A species barely out of their own solar system. Primitive, scattered, barely capable of managing their own planet, let alone participating in galactic affairs. A low murmur ran through the conference hall. Some delegates shifted uncomfortably. Others looked openly amused. Jae-hoon's hand moved almost imperceptibly. A small device near his wrist, what looked like a simple communication bracelet, was actually recording every single word, every nuance of the speech. These humans, the Krell continued, growing more confident with each word, are nothing more than potential resources. Their planet would make an excellent colony. Their people, mere workers if they're lucky enough to survive the transition. Complete silence fell over the conference hall. The Krell diplomat didn't realize the mistake it was making. In its arrogance, it had broken the first rule of galactic diplomacy. Never underestimate another species. Never insult them publicly. Never challenge their right to exist. Jae-hoon Park's expression didn't change. His dark eyes remained calm, almost blank. To the other delegates, he looked like someone who was simply listening. But those who knew humans, those who had studied them, would have recognized the dangerous stillness. This was a moment that would change everything. The Krell continued its speech, completely unaware that with each word, it was sealing its civilization's fate. Jae-hoon's bracelet continued to record. His breathing remained steady. His hands were relaxed. And in the background, behind the massive holographic displays and the grandeur of the conference hall, the first lines of code were already being written. 3 weeks after the diplomatic conference, the Krell Empire began to notice something was wrong. It started small, just tiny glitches in their most advanced systems. Hyum-ki Kim sat in a small, dimly lit room thousands of light-years away from the Krell homeworld. His fingers moved quickly across holographic keyboards, lines of code dancing across multiple screens. He didn't look like someone about to change the course of galactic history. He looked like an ordinary computer engineer, wearing a simple white shirt and dark pants. The first target was a major Krell communication hub on the planet Zera 9. Suddenly, all their communication networks began to fail. Messages dropped. Signals became scrambled. Important military communications turned into nonsense. At first, Krell technicians thought it was a simple system error. They ran diagnostic tests. They checked their hardware. They replaced computer chips and communication modules. Nothing worked. Then the problem spread. Defensive systems on Krell colony worlds started to malfunction. Shield generators would suddenly shut down. Weapon systems would point in random directions. Computer networks would display strange messages in human languages, mostly technical jokes that only computer engineers would understand. The Krell military became confused. Their top technology experts were baffled. How could an entire communication network simply break? What they didn't know was that HFY had created something special. These weren't just normal computer viruses. These were adaptive programs that could think and change. They could learn from the systems they invaded. They could find new ways to cause problems. On the planet Krell Prime, the main administrative center lost all of its important data. Years of records simply vanished. Government systems crashed. Military communication became impossible. Panic began to spread. The Galactic Confederation watched in surprise. Humans, who were supposed to be a minor species, had somehow managed to completely disable one of the most technologically advanced civilizations in the galaxy. HFY continued his work, calm and focused. Each line of code was like a weapon. Each program was designed to cause maximum confusion with minimum direct damage. He wasn't trying to kill anyone. He was sending a message. News spread quickly. Other alien species began to look at humans differently. They were no longer seen as a weak, young species. They were something else entirely. In the Krell Empire, leaders began to realize the true extent of their mistake. The diplomatic insult had cost them more than just reputation. It had shown the galaxy something terrifying. Humans could fight back in ways no one had ever imagined. HFY allowed himself a small smile. The first phase of their response was complete. And this was just the beginning. Su-Jin Lee stood at the window of her research station, looking out at the stars. Behind her, holographic screens showed complex diagrams and planetary maps. She knew exactly what was happening. The plan was working perfectly. The Krell Empire was falling apart. Their technology had been their pride. Now it was their biggest weakness. Humans had shown the galaxy something important. Technology was not just about power. It was about understanding. On Earth, people continued their normal lives. Most didn't know about the secret war happening among the stars. A farmer in Kansas worked his fields. A teacher in Seoul graded papers. A student in Sydney studied for exams. They had no idea how their actions, their entire way of life, was about to change galactic history. The Galactic Confederation called an emergency meeting. Representatives from hundreds of alien species gathered. They looked worried. Some looked scared. The humans have done something impossible, one alien leader said. His skin changed colors as he spoke, a sign of deep emotion among his species. They'd destroyed the Krell Empire's entire technological infrastructure without firing a single weapon. Another representative spoke up. They didn't kill anyone. They just stopped everything from working. The meeting room was silent. Everyone understood what this meant. Humans were different. Humans were dangerous. Back at the research station, Su-Jin made some final adjustments. Her team had prepared for months. They knew exactly what they were doing. Each human colony was now a potential fortress. Each human was a potential defender. The Krell tried to fight back. But how do you fight an enemy that can turn your own technology against you? Every time they fixed one problem, 10 more appeared. Their systems were breaking down faster than they could repair them. Communication between Krell colony worlds became impossible. Their military lost control. Their government collapsed from the inside. Su-Jin understood something important. This wasn't just about revenge. This was about sending a message. Humans would not be pushed around. Humans would not be treated as a weak species. The final blow came quietly. With a few simple commands, Su-Jin and her team completely shut down the remaining Krell communication networks. No warnings, no dramatic speeches, just silence. The Nexus Collective watched in shock. The Galactic Confederation was stunned. Humans had shown they could fight a war without weapons. They had shown they could win without killing anyone. In the research station, Su-Jin allowed herself a small smile. The message was clear: do not mess with humans. Outside, the stars continued to shine. Somewhere, a farmer worked his fields. A teacher graded papers. A student studied. And the galaxy would never be the same again.